Here we are in lesson 6 of our Movement Matters journey, our curriculum on learning the fourth perspective of New Testament restoration. This is the force of fortification. And I teased to this in the last lesson that these two lessons, fracture and fortification, cover some of the darker times in the history of the restoration movement. But at the same time, there are lessons that were learned here that helped formulate and help us to become a better movement today. So even though there are some negative aspects of it, we should look at the positive too, because there's some things that came from this. Now, when I think about how to illustrate this, I go all the way here. Oh, look, I brought it. This is a legit brick. That's why I'm being gentle with this thing, because there's some weight to this, right? Like, we've seen bricks, we know bricks. Some of us have taken to heart the parable of the three little pigs, because you understand is that the brick house is the one that will withstand the breath of the wolf. Right? Like, brick is solid, and you know that if you build something out of brick, it is going to last a long time. Right? If I build a flimsy wall out of twigs, it might not last long. If I build a wall out of brick, then the chances are it might even outlive my life. And that's why people use it for construction, for fortification. And this is a good illustration then of what happened within the Restoration movement, is that during this time, as we combated theological liberalism, we were forced to put up walls. We built very solid walls to ensure that biblical authority reigned supreme and that it did not waver. But at the same time, when that battle was over, what we had ourselves was a bunch of walls remaining. And when you have a wall, you want to do something with it. And that, I would say, has been the challenge of our movement as we've dealt with this. I think we had some people who immersed themselves in culture and life to the point that they had no walls at all. So they were free to associate, but this left them defenseless. So immersion wasn't a good thing. But then there was isolation. Some of us built walls, and we built walls on walls on walls. And this neither helped, because then after the conflict was over, we had so many walls up that it was difficult to ascertain our posture. How do we act? How do we remain biblically faithful when we have all these walls that are still standing up? That's why I offer the middle ground there. I believe is peacemaking, what you and I need to do to try to make peace. And that means if we're making peace, that we're near the conflict. So it's a difficult place for us to be in, but it's important for us to see how the people in the Restoration movement dealt with it, so that as we move toward the future, we can deal with it as well. So we are in the midst of our lesson series, lesson number 6, fortification. As we learn about this, open your eyes and your heart to be able to see what it means to stand firm for God's word, to build walls when necessary, but then also understand that peace has been achieved and it's time to tear them down. I hope you appreciate this study on fortification.